Welcome back to Passionately Catholic. So we're in the process of looking at financial stability and being wise financially, and we're working through our Passionately Catholic commentary on Dave Ramsey's 7 baby steps. And today we're taking a look at baby step number 5, which is starting a savings fund, a college savings fund for your kids. And Dave Ramsey recommends educational savings accounts, ESAs, or 529 plans, which would be offered through your state. I found 529 plans to be advantageous. If you remember from our video of baby step number 4, where we talked about saving for retirement, we talked about Roth savings accounts and IRAs and 401ks. One of the advantages of a 529 college savings account is that it's like a IRA, is that money gets taken out of your gross income. So you don't get taxed on the money that you put into, like, say, a 529 account. So it has a lot of tax benefits. There's lots of advantages to this. And if you're in, baby step number 4 and you're now investing 15% of your gross household income in retirement, you should be working with a financial planner, or at least have been doing a lot of good research on your own so that you know what you're doing. The same is going to apply here for like a 529 or an ESA and how all this stuff works out, okay? Now, I want to offer a little bit of a twist on this one in terms of your savings accounts for kids for college, okay? Now, I actually am not a big fan of the idea of paying for kids' college. Now, I don't know what your own personal background was on this. I don't know if you even went to college. I did undergraduate at a state college. I did a master's program that I funded while working, funded myself at a private institution, got my master's degree in theology at a Catholic college. But I had to pay my entire way for all of my college, all my room, board, tuition, all of that kind of stuff. Now, I kind of did this experiment while I was in college. And I would talk to fellow students and ask them, how much of your college are you paying for? Are you paying for all of it, some of it, none of it? What is that situation? And I found as a trend, the more that parents paid for college, the room and board, the tuition, the books, maybe even extra money, so that the student doesn't even have to work a job while in college, whatever it was, the more that parents tend to put in, I noticed it wasn't always. There was always exceptions to this, but I would notice in my classmates and friends, the less effort they would tend to put in. And the students who were funding everything, they were covering their books, their room, their board, they were working a job or two while in college, they were quite literally way more invested in themselves. They were more invested in their college. I didn't miss a class. That wasn't really an option for me. I'm like, I'm funding my college education. I'm not here to have fun, to mess around. I'm going to have fun. I've had great opportunities at the Catholic Student Center. Highly recommend that. For college students, getting involved in the Catholic Newman Center, the Catholic Student Center on campus, absolutely pivotal, right, to maintaining good faith in college and continue that spiritual growth throughout college. Really, really important, especially during those years and transitioning to adulthood and what my personal faith is going to look like for me, and not just being my parents' faith, but that's huge, okay? But in terms of my own experience, I actually made huge progress in terms of learning about finances, learning about how to invest, learning about my college loans. Like, I'm taking out these loans. I'm going to have to pay these loans back. What is an interest rate? How does all that work? I actually found that by being in a situation where I was forced to do it myself, I actually learned a ton about the financial world, and a lot of my self-education started in that process of going to college and really learning how to do that. So while some people might say, oh, you had to pay your entire college education all by yourself, I'm actually still paying off student loans right now in my late 30s. Okay, people, that's so horrible. Actually, it was actually a huge blessing for me. And I remember thinking in college, I'm like, you know what? Even if I was in a financial situation where I could pay off my kids' entire college expenses, which would have a big advantage of putting them in an incredible blessing of having a lot less debt so that they're not paying interest to some lender, okay, for years, if not decades after college, that they could have those financial resources to themselves. What I noticed is that I learned a ton about finances. I was a lot more critical about my spending. I developed really good financial habits and virtue in terms of working with those, and have been able to make a positive impact in other people's lives in terms of the things that I've learned. And a lot of that has come from being in a situation where I had to be personally invested in myself and my college education. conversation and ask deep questions like, why am I doing this? Why am I going to this college? Why am I studying this major? What future do I have in mind? I'm not just going to college to have fun or to party or something like that. By no means. That this is something I'm investing in my future career, and I took it very, very, very seriously. So I asked this question as a college student. I'm like, when I have future kids, if I'm able to pay for their college, do I even want to do that? Okay, what kind of a situation do I want to have with my own children? And I wouldn't say that I have all that figured out right now by any means, but I do want to help them to some degree, and I want to use our 529 or ESA plans, saving for college. I want to use that as a way to begin to teach my kids about investing and financial planning, because what I want to walk them through is okay, I've actually taken money from their money that they're given from birthdays and money that they're given for Christmas. I've actually saved some of that because they don't need a lot of that money that they're given. They've got so much. There's toys everywhere in my house, for crying out loud. They have clothes. Their basic needs are met, right? So I take a lot of that extra money, sometimes hundreds of dollars at the end of the year, and I take that money and I put that into their college savings, and I mark down and I record, who does it come from? From great-grandma, great-grandpa, from grandma, grandpa, aunt, uncle, godparents, whatever, and I mark down how much they gave in their Christmas card or their birthday card that my kid really didn't need, and put that money into their college account, so that when they get to heading off to college and they're like, okay, how am I going to fund this? Like, what am I going to do? I'm going to have a conversation with each of my children and my wife, have a family sit-down conversation about, here's how much has been saved up for you, and here's mom and I have put in some stuff for you, but also here's your other family members who've contributed in your birthday cards and your Christmas cards since you were little, even when you were born. Maybe my grandparent, your great-grandparent gave a little bit of extra money, and here's what we did with it for you, and here's how it's been able to grow. Maybe it's doubled or tripled or quadrupled in size over all those years, 18 years, 15 years, 10 years of being invested in a ESA or 529 college savings account. And these are the tax benefits that we've gotten from it, and use that as an opportunity. And it might not be a lot of money, but use that as an opportunity to teach them about, here's what investing is all about. Here's what you can do with money over time. So let's talk about this. Let's, apply for as many scholarships as we can. Let's be smart about which loans you're taking out. Definitely work in college. And I'll share with them this same story I shared with you about, when I went to college, having to fund it for myself, I was highly invested in that, versus what I see from some students who maybe get a lot or all of it handed to them, don't have the same financial prowess because they don't have to, because it's being taken care of for them. So again, baby step number 5, starting to fund your children's future college funds, and how you want to do that. And I would add this tweak is being cautious and really bringing this into prayer and saying, God, what do you want me to do as a parent? Okay, how do you want me to save for them? What do you want this to look like? And it's going to be different for a lot of people with different financial goals and how many kids you have and what future plans are. But personally, I'm not sure. I don't think it's the best thing to provide for a child completely. But if you do choose to do that, bringing them in on it and teaching them how you invested for them, I think that all that is really important. I won't be funding my kids' entire college. I don't have the ability to do that, even if I wanted to do that. But I want to give them that gift of bringing them into the discussion about investing, planning. Here's the financial resources that have been saved for you. If you'd like more Passionately Catholic content, be sure to subscribe to our channel and click the bell icon so that YouTube has to tell you every time we post a new video. I especially want to thank all of our patrons who make everything we do here at Passionately Catholic possible. I wish you all God's blessings and peace, and I look forward to being in touch again very soon.